What are dioxins? Dioxins are a group of chemically related compounds that are persistent environmental pollutants, POPs, that have been around for decades and environmentally take a long time to degrade once present, making them extremely hard to eliminate. They can be highly toxic and found in more than 90% of the intake of foods by bioaccumulating in things like animal fats. They are mainly found in meats, dairy products, fish, and shellfish. The term dioxins refers to three chemical families: chlorinated dibenzoyl P dioxins, CDDs, polychlorinated dibenzofurans, PCDFs, and certain polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs. The most toxic is 2378 TCDD, or tetrachlorobenzoyl P dioxin, as pictured above. They can affect the immune system, cause hormone imbalance, and affect developing fetuses and more.
So now that we've learned a little bit about what dioxins are, let's actually talk about how they're formed. Dioxins are formed as a result of combustion processes and in the production of some chlorinated organic compounds. For example, burning fuels like wood, coal, or oil, and even things like cigarette smoke, bleaches, and herbicides can all cause dioxin formation. Other ways that dioxins can form are industrial processing. And from industrial processing, dioxins are formed during the production of things like pesticides or other chlorinated chemicals and are usually an unintended byproduct for things like bleaching of paper pulp. In incineration, incomplete burning of municipal and industrial waste releases dioxins into the air. Other ways dioxins can form are natural sources like wildfires and volcanic activity, and other sources include vehicle exhaust and burning wood.
Dioxins have a 7 to 11 year half life, meaning it takes 7 to 11 years to break down only half of the amount in the body. The main exposure, as mentioned before, comes from the food chain, particularly fatty animal products like meat, dairy, fish, and shellfish. This can happen through the mishandling of these contents before they are packaged, or PCB-based waste industrial oils that contain high levels of PCDFs. The higher an animal is in the food chain, the higher the concentration of dioxins. Although there are high levels in foods, very low levels are actually found in plants, water, and air. Daily intake of PCDDs and PCDFs is 50 to 200 picograms ITEQ, which stands for International Toxic Equivalents per person per day, or 1 to 3 picograms ITEQ per kilogram per body weight per day for a 60 kilogram adult. High exposure can be seen from contaminated food, as mentioned before. For example, in edible oil in Japan, for a group of USHO patients, the average intake of PCBs, PCDFs, and PCQs, economy rice oil, is estimated to be 154,000 picograms, which is 5 times higher than the average. Vulnerable populations, like developing fetuses and newborns, are especially sensitive to the negative effects of dioxins because they lack proper immune defenses and can alter their needed nutrient levels. Some cases have been shown to enter breast milk, affecting them even postnatal.
Dioxin poisoning can cause some serious health problems, including cancer, reproductive issues, and damage to the immune and endocrine systems.
Dioxins can also affect the endocrine system. Some common ways is through thyroid dysfunction, where dioxin exposure is associated with increased thyroid stimulating hormone, or THH levels. This can indicate that the thyroid gland is not producing enough thyroid hormone, potentially leading to hypothyroidism. Another way is by disrupting the reproductive system. Dioxins can significantly disrupt the function of the ovaries, leading to infertility, premature ovarian failure, and alterations in sex hormone levels. This leads to hormone imbalance, where dioxins can interfere with the metabolism of steroid hormones, such as affecting the enzyme aromatase, which is involved in estrogen production. This can lead to less conversion of estradiol into testosterone. They also are known to affect the aryl hydrocarbon receptor, or AHR, pathway by hijacking it. Dioxins persistently activate the AHR, a receptor that plays a role in development and cell cycle control. This persistent activation disrupts normal cellular function by binding to the receptor and activating it, which leads to a range of toxic effects. This leads to the development of various diseases, such as cancer, as mentioned earlier, and disrupts homeostasis in the body.
Dioxins are a very dangerous endocrine disruptor, as once they're out in the environment, there's no way to go back on that. The most effective way to reduce exposure to dioxins is by controlling the industrial sources that create them. Just a reminder, dioxins come from industrial processing, incineration, natural sources like wildfires and volcanic activity, and even things like vehicle exhaust and burning wood. Places like the EPA should put a moratorium on new dioxin permits, which would essentially phase out the industrial production and use of chlorinated organic compounds, including things like plastic and PVC. The last way that we can decrease or reduce exposure to dioxins is by monitoring food supplies, because 90% of dioxins come from our food sources as they accumulate in the food chain and in our environment. And these are our sources. Thank you very much.